I believe at this point we need to broaden human rights themselves to be Earth rights. Unfortunately, the way the worldview that dominates has evolved, it presents this broadening as a shrinkage, as if recognizing the rights of the Earth took something away from our human space, rather than recognizing that the Earth's rights are the very basis for all human rights in an inclusive sense. We worked, civil rights was about bringing the blacks into citizenship. It was about bringing women through the suffragette movement into citizenship. But at this point, the formal rights are all there on paper. The exclusions today are rooted in ecological and economic exclusions. On paper, we have it all. We're all equal, except when it comes now to equal sharing of the Earth's resources. And that equal sharing of the Earth's resources, as well as equal responsibility in protecting the Earth, is, for me, Earth citizenship. It's recognizing that we are first and foremost citizens of the Earth. All other citizenships are narrower and subservient to this larger citizenship. And at this point, I feel we have three major imperatives for why we need to elevate human rights to Earth citizenship. The first is that, at least I feel deeply as a scientist, looking at the trends, whether it's the trends of water, or the trends of soil fertility, or the trends of biodiversity erosion, or the trends of climate instability. All trends are escalating at a stage where, if they continue in the direction in which they're going, we can foresee pushing our species to extinction within this century. It's a total doable project. Species extinction is a possibility, is a very strong possibility. And to deal with species extinctions mean we'd better recognize ourselves as a species, before we recognize ourselves as divided by race and religion and gender. We need to recognize our commonality as a species, as a human species, but also our sharing of this Earth with other species. And of course, this extinction is driven by illusions that the resources of the Earth can be limitlessly exploited for something which is also illusionary, called limitless growth. Yeah. The only thing that doesn't know when to stop growing is a cancer cell. And so we are taking a diseased organism as the model of human progress and saying, let's be like the cancer cell and kill the organism, Gaia, which supports us. Earth citizenship wakes us from this slumber of illusions, of illusion after illusion after illusion. It's quite fascinating, I've spent since late 80s monitoring what was earlier the GATT, the General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs, and then it became the World Trade Organization. And the driving force for all the rules of that organization are corporations. Corporations are an illusion, in the sense their existence is through a piece of paper which gives them legal personhood. They aren't persons. There isn't a person called Monsanto who we can shake up and pinch. Yeah. There's a fiction called Monsanto. And within it are real people operating it. Within it are real shareholders who are also being sold an illusion that the GM miracle will make them rich. The instruments, measuring growth in the economic terms, it's an illusion. It's not the growth of real people, real trees, real rivers, real babies. It's calculation of a fiction which is based on commodification and commercialization of everything in life. So our friend, dear Edward Goldsmith, the founding editor of the magazine called Ecologist, and one could say at least after the 70s, really, the inspiration for a large number of environmental movements. He used to say, if I sleep with my wife, no growth. If I go to a brothel, huge contribution to growth. If we have peace in community, no growth. If we shoot and murder and kill each other, and then there are, weapons economies and this large security forces, lots of growth. So in fact, growth measures an unstable system. You cut a tree, you get growth. You nurture a tree, you have no growth. So growth of the earth, growth of a species, growth of human welfare is not counted as growth. There's a second imperative why we need to take Earth citizenship seriously. And that is because there are other species on this planet with us. And they have intrinsic worth, and they have an intrinsic right to live. Even though an anthropomorphic worldview has made us believe all of this planet is for us, it's not. And not only do the other species have equal rights to the human species, the point is they are part of the web of life with us. And again, because we were at the retreat center where Father Thomas Berry had been, I love his, he's put things so simply, he's put very, very complex ideas very, very simply. And he says, nothing is itself without everything else. So we are not human without all the non-human species. And the final imperative is the fact that the old exclusions, which were at the root of the creation of the human rights and civil rights movements, are exclusions that are ecological exclusions in both the fact that it's the resources of the poor which are being taken away in order to create the growth illusion, which is an illusion for humanity as a whole, but is quite real in terms of wealth accumulation for those who get to own the resources which we all share. And on the other side, an undue burden of the pollution that the system generates. You've got the BP oil spill and its pollution, the continuing toxic burden of the planet with chemicals in farming, the new contamination, the new invisible pollution of genetic pollution resulting from the spread of GMOs. Take the two most basic needs that we have as human beings, the need for food and the need for water. Neither of these can be met without the earth's provisioning. Whether it's food or water, in the first instance, they begin as gifts of the earth. You can't have food without the soil, without biodiversity, without the sun contributing to photosynthesis, without water. And of course, you can't have water without the earth giving it.